Hello class, here we are at our last final presentation, overview of everything that we've studied so far this year, and glad it's done. So in Module 1 we talked about the basics of communications. We started off with introducing ourselves to the entire class in a virtual setting, which was quite interesting to hear everybody's different backgrounds and where they're coming from and what they plan on doing. Deal that stuck out to me during this module was the 4 rules of communication. Be polite and professional. To me, that's very important because if you're not polite or professional, you're going to lose your audience really quick. Depending on the situation, you may need to be in a business attire and present yourself as such. Avoid assigning tasks who are not direct reports. This is, to me, pretty important. When people assign us tasks that may not be in the same division or they may not be job related, it's kind of hard to do those tasks. Not every communication will reach its target. With this is that, we may send an email out or we may send some kind of memo out and it may not get to who it really needs to be given to, and we need to keep that in mind and be patient. With technology these days, although information can be sent to people quickly, and within 20 million other emails, something may be lost. So be patient, don't expect that quick return. How we communicate has also changed. I'm communicating through a cell phone, which is recording a computer screen, which I've made this presentation to. Probably wasn't that long ago that we were all just making notes and winging it as we went along. Basics of grammar in Module 2 I thought was pretty funny because here we are as college students and we're learning the basics of grammar. But it was very essential as I've started looking at witness statement forms and also other police reports, that it does lay the groundwork for effective communication. Without proper grammar, it could be the difference between let's eat grandma to let's eat grandma, and that would not be a good day. Grammar skills are important to be an effective leader. If you write memos or you write business letters that are very improper, it can really affect the people below you. In learner's grammar, you got to be accurate, workable, economical, compact, operational, and immediate. And with these 5 things, if you can place those in your work, you stand a good chance of getting everything, 1, correct by the grammar police, but 2, effectively communicating what you're trying to portray. Module 3, communication in the workplace. Conflict management, mediation. Develop communication competence to engage in conflict situations in constructive ways. If you go in with a shouting match, you're not going to get very far. But if you go in with an open mind and can hear what the other person says, maybe we can get to the common ground and make a resolution to the problem. Negotiation and communication is, you go in, you have an issue, maybe, for instance, it's something that you guys can come up with middle ground, give and take a little bit, and having that open, honest communication can help. Mediation communication, sometimes supervisor and subordinates just don't meet eye to eye, and you need a third person in there that's kind of looking from the outside looking in that can help mediate that. Module 4 is teamwork in the workplace. Social groups, work groups, and teams. This is where we began working as a group, which was really interesting to be able to get everybody together to do a project. One of the articles was how to build a good team, and it's through these stages of forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So forming the team, brainstorming together, finding what people were good at, and then putting the thing together, putting the project together, And then once it's complete, of kind of debriefing one another and how did it effectively work. And then building the team, and that's the most critical point, is everybody comes to each team with a talent. Some people are leaders. Some people just, hey, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Some people are good at PowerPoint. Some people are good at research. And finding those things and putting the right people in place can help. And also pushing each other can help with that as well. Writing in the workplace, emails, memos, business letters, reports, transactional and financial documents. With these, that's basically how written communication is done now. And 95% of those are probably done electronically, some format, and sent through there. Common mistakes are typos, buzzwords, complex sentences, too much text, and being vague. Typos are important because one little misletter and it could change the entire word or context of something. Buzzwords, we have a problem with that in law enforcement. We like to talk cop, and if we're saying 10 codes or we're talking the dialect that we as law enforcement officers know, somebody on the outside or a jury may not understand that. Being vague can also throw people off of having to ask questions and keeps you up there trying to explain exactly what you've done. Technology in the workplace. We talked about graphics and visual aids, which helps. As you can see, I have a lot of photos in each slide, and to try to pull everything together. Sometimes words alone can't explain what you're trying to portray, so having that information helps. And it also keeps the audience engaged. Millennials are tech dependent. Yes, they are, very much so. So they may not understand a guy just stand there talking, preaching the old school way of just standing at the pulpit. They want to have the graphics behind them and keeping them mentally engaged. It contributes to their personal growth. They crave that feedback and communication, and it enables them to change the world. So they got to have the technology, and they want that technology to further themselves. And this statement wasn't in this class, but it was another one I had, and I really kind of took heart to it. But embrace the Harry Potter generation. These people, young adults, are coming up, and they know a lot more than even I do. And I'm not too far in front of them, but they have a lot of background and skill level that I have no clue on what they do. So embrace the Harry Potter generation as they come up. The midterm, yeah, we got halfway there. We talked about our group talked about unethical behavior. My group consists of Lindsey Johnson, myself, Matt Ray, Sarah Canto, Laura McNabb, and Lisa Sands. We talked about behavior in the workplace, the misuse of time, abusive behavior, theft, lying, violating internet policies, the standards that need to be built to kind of curb unethical behavior, having ethical value statements, discuss ethics during reviews, enforce ethical behavior, retain ethical employees, and make ethics priority. And having these could help curb the unethical behavior that happens in the workplace. Leadership is a big part of this. They need to be transparent. They need to communicate and be also not only just hold subordinates accountable, but hold themselves accountable. And we see this a lot being misused because they're not holding themselves accountable, which in turn lowers morale. Public speaking, which I don't have a problem with, other than when I'm recording myself. But it refers to communication practice of a speaker sharing ideas with an audience primarily through speech. It's just, if you're up there and you're in front of people, your mannerisms, how you can effectively get your message out. It's just not to express yourself, but have an effect on listeners. You guys are listening to me. I'm not on screen, but you guys may be pretty bored of just hearing my voice. But if I was up there, maybe doing a gig or moving my hands around or something, be a little bit more entertained or not, either way. It enhances your reputation. It boosts confidence and open up opportunities. People get to know you. Hey, he's a good speaker. He's not a good speaker. We don't want to go to his class or what he teaches. Being up in front of an audience just continues to boost that confidence. I was pretty shy going through high school, but the more I get in front of people and speak, the more confidence I have. And it opens up opportunities. People get to know your face. They get to see you. And you kind of become the brand or the image of whoever you're representing. So our public information officers are kind of our face of the department. So they got to really work on public speaking. Module 8 is conducting effective meetings, preparing for the meeting, which is very important, so you know what you're meeting about. Sometimes having a meeting of the meeting before the meeting happens quite often. Conducting the meeting is also very important to actually have an effective meeting. And the agendas, having that date, time, location, who's going to be there, the topics and detail of the topics, and time per topic. So when somebody's there, they kind of know what to expect in the meeting. And if there's anything else that you can do to maybe adjust or talk about if it's going to be a hot topic, it can already kind of be out in the open on the forefront. Career planning was Module 9. We talked about a cover letter, which I never knew existed until this class, or how to do one. A resume, which I learned I need to really work on in the interview process of what to kind of expect when you go into an interview and how to deflect certain questions if needed, or rephrase an answer that may be a hard question to answer. Factors affecting communication. Culture, cross-culture communication is big because if we go to, let's say, another country and handshaking is not really the appropriate thing to do, we shouldn't do it. We may go to a country where it is the norm for a male to kiss a male on the cheek, where we may not be open to that, and it may throw us off. But having that information is very very profound. Intercultural communication, how we talk to one another, is very well known and needs to be known. So in body language, if we sit with our arms crossed, we might be in defensive posture to some. It also may mean we're comfortable. But having that open body language, or watching how we sit, or if we have a certain some people have a natural smile, and it may be something serious, to kind of put that in effect. Globalization is quick communication across the world. Now we can send an email all the way around the world in about 2 seconds, and making sure that we are communicating correctly and saying the right phrases and words so that the person in another country can understand. And that it is nice that we can all kind of come together and work for the same company in different parts of the world. Persuasive communication. I love persuasive communication. As a detective, that's basically all I did. I persuaded somebody to tell me the truth and to confess to their crime and talk themselves into going to jail. It is definitely an art and science. We call it the dance of trying to elicit information from somebody. One thing that stuck out was that we are persuaded 300 to 3,000 times a day by looking at different ads, be it a billboard to an ad on Facebook or Instagram, to just walking down a hallway somewhere and seeing an ad. Compliance is more face-to-face context. As you can see, the picture is a guy interrogating somebody, a superhero there, and interrogating that person, or getting them to comply to his demands, or him to confess. And last, Module 12 was challenges and opportunities, bias communications. We all have biases. We can't get rid of them. We can overcome them, but we will always have them. Just being aware of those biases, especially if we're in writing or talking to somebody or about somebody. And just being sensitive to racial, ethnic, age, religious, socioeconomic, political, occupational, and gender groups. And just know that we may say something not knowingly or not meaning to, that could offend a certain group. Ethical and unethical communications, choice, moral agency, and responsibility. We have a choice of what we say. Is it for or against our morals? And we have a responsibility. We're responsible for what we say and what we post and what we write. So, hey, if you mess up, you gotta just own it. I'd like to thank you guys for an awesome semester in class and look forward to working along with you guys in the future. And good luck in everybody's endeavors. Take care.